show you how easy it is to make your minute rice out of your long grain rice. And this stuff is wonderful, and it's perfect for a quick meal. But anyway, right now I'm just rinsing this out. I've got my pan of water because I got 4.5 cups of rice. So I got my pan with my water on my stove. You cook it just as directed. And I'm cooking mine in water. Now, I'm not making my flavored minute rice, but you can by all means use broth, you know, something that you don't want any fat in it. Do not put any butter or oil in this rice. Just plain water, broth, and rice. Water or broth and rice. And that's it. So my water is on the stove, and I'm bringing it up to a boil. Okay? And you're just going to rinse this till it runs clear. And the purpose of this is just so you don't have sticky rice. You're rinsing the starch out of this rice. It works a whole lot better when the rice is fluffy to dehydrate it. See, it just takes a few minutes, but it's so well worth it. Alright, that one's done. I've already rinsed one. Let that drain just a little bit. Okay. Alright, so I will get the rest of this done, and then I'll bring it back to the stove and show you the rest of the steps. So I'll be right back. And now that my water is boiling, remember, I'm not going to put any oil or butter in this whatsoever. But I am going to put this rice in here. Make sure you get it all out of there because it does stick to your bowl. It's wet. You don't want to waste any. Okay. It's all in there. So now I'm just going to I'm going to give it a stir. I'm going to bring this back up to a boil. And then I'm going to reduce the heat to low and just let it cook slow. It'll take about 45 minutes or so. And if you need to add more water, go right ahead and add more water. But most of the time, I'm just able to put it in here, bring it to a boil, turn it on low, cover it, and leave it set. And I don't touch it till it's done. And it turns out really good. So this is going to come up to a boil. And when it is, I'll be back. And it's boiling. So I'm going to give it another good stir. And I'm going to put the lid on it, turn it down to low, and just leave it alone for 45 minutes. I will be back. Okay, friends, this has been sitting on the stove on low for 45 minutes. Look at it steaming. And it is done. And watch. I'm just going to fluff it with my fork. I didn't stir it once. Perfect. Absolutely perfect how fluffy that will be. So that's perfect for dehydrating right there. So anyway, is what I'm going to do. It just falls apart. I love it. Perfect. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this cool completely. And I may even spread it out in another, spread it out amongst a couple pans. But I want it to cool completely, and then I will show you how I dehydrate it. So when that is all cooled, I will be back. Okay, friends, this is really easy to do. I just use, because you got your hole in here and you don't want to lose all your goodies through it, all I do is take a ring and a lid for my canning and lay it right over the top of that. Works really good. Then you can just take and put your rice on here. I just got a little 1/4 cup scoop because it's easy to work with. Spread it out. And you might have clumps, but you know what? When it does dehydrate, it breaks up really easy. So I just spread that all out. Just like so. And this is still just a little bit warm, but nothing major. It'll still work well, and it'll dry beautifully, and you'll have some wonderful minute rice. Okay, that tray is all set. That's how easy that is. See, it sets in that tray just like so. I'm going to take my little lid off, and there we are. It's going to go on my dehydrator. And I've got 5 trays for this dehydrator, so I'll show you again how easy this is to do. Got your piece up there on your top so nothing falls through. Break the little chunks up. This is pretty fluffy rice, and if you rinse it, it will be really nice and fluffy. But you still have a little bit of chunks here and there. Just break them up the best you can. Spread it out. It works well. Get it off the counter. You don't want to waste any of it. Make sure your counter's clean and your hands are nice and clean, and you'll be good to go. Alright, friends. That one is all set. I probably could put just a little more in there. Fill the little holes and take it all the way to the edges. There we go. So there's another one for you. See how easy that is to put on your trays? Take your lid off. Wonderful. Put it in your dehydrator. Alright, I'm going to finish up my trays and get it dehydrating. It's going to go... Actually, I'll just be back when I get them all loaded. Friends, there are my 5 nice trays of my rice. It's going to be wonderful. Now this, it just depends on your temperature, the humidity, and everything involved depends on how long this is going to take to dry. But because it's cold outside, it's winter here, I'm assuming this will be dry within 6 hours. So I'm just going to put my lid on that, and then when I turn my camera off, I'm going to plug that in. This here is what I've got left over. I took it out of my pan. And see, I want to show you. When you cook your rice, no sticking. Beautiful. And I never once stirred it. I just brought it up to a boil, gave it one final stir, no butter, no nothing in it, and just put the lid on, turn it on low, and let it go. And if you're just patient that way, you will have wonderful rice. But anyway, with this, I don't want this sitting out in the danger zone because this is going to take 6 hours. The danger zone, 40 degrees to 140 degrees. You don't want anything sitting out in that. So while that's in the dehydrator, I'm just going to cover this rice up here with plastic wrap, put it in the fridge, and when that's done, then I can take this right out of the fridge and dehydrate it. And it's wonderful. So when this is all done, all dry, I'll bring you back and I'll show you how wonderful this turns out. Friends, my rice is all dry. It took just about 6 hours to get it real good and dry. So all I do here is I dump it in my bucket, and nothing sticks because I'm using these real nice mesh liners. So I just, like so, put it all in there. This dries beautifully. Okay, now you can see that. Now I just go in there and I just kind of break it up because some of it might still be, you know, in little clumps or whatever. But I just break it up and it turns out wonderful. So you just kind of run it through your fingers and break it up a little bit. And it turns out fantastic. Now remember, when you do this, you can do the same thing, and instead of water, you can use broth. You know, you can use some flavorings. Don't put any oil in it or butter or anything. Just either broth, and try and do a really low fat broth because we all know fat doesn't dehydrate. So you don't want to have any trouble with your rice. I've used the bouillon before to make flavored minute rice, or like the chicken stock or chicken soup base, you know, stuff like that, the powders, and it does work really nice. But that's it. I'm just going to put it in my jar, and you can see how beautiful it is. I'm just going to put it in my jar, and I'm all set. And you make it, when you get ready to fix it, you do the same as minute rice, equal parts of rice and water, and you're good to go. So there you have it, friends. Another really easy, budget-friendly idea for your pantry. Thanks for watching.